That's right, Bajaj is celebrating 20 years of thrill with the Pulsar brand. To mark this momentous occasion, Bajaj has launched the all-new N250 and F250 Pulsars. However, while they are the showstoppers of the day, these motorcycles are not to be forgotten. Hello and welcome to DriveSpark. I'm Stephen Neal and I'm inviting you on a trip down memory lane with the OG Pulsars. So let's take a quick look, starting with this, the old 2001 Bajaj Pulsar DTS-i. This is the 180. It was available in the 150 and 180 models, and I'm sure many of us have lots of memories with this particular motorcycle. In fact, with all the Pulsars, but this one is a little special, not just for the users, not just for riders, but even for Bajaj. This is where it all began with the original, the circular headlamp. You've got the twin pod instrument cluster, you've got the halogen powered indicators, the spoked wheels and the muscular tank. This is where the whole Pulsar muscular look began. This is where it started, and we have come a long way since then. 20 years to be exact. Just check it out. It looks to be in mint condition even today, and well, I've ridden this one a lot, not this particular motorcycle, this generation a lot. My cousin used to own one. I have a lot of memories. In fact, my childhood was on one of these. Now let's take a quick look at the next generation of Pulsar. So come with me. The year 2004. The placard there says the sparks of mania. This is where it started becoming really popular. The popular face, the well-known face of the Pulsar brand started from this motorcycle. Yes, it was 2004, just 3 years after the very first Pulsar came out. This one was launched, and this one brought along with it many changes, starting with this, the ever so popular Pulsar face, and then of course you had the alloy wheels coming in to replace the spoke wheels. These are the major changes. The engine, the chassis, the frame, everything else remained very identical to the OG. However, this one came with a new design, more friendly towards the youth. In fact, the rear also remained the same. However, there were a few changes along the years. You would have seen that this design remained. However, the rear end design changed a little to give it the the LED tail lamp look. That's when it started in 2005, 2006, around that time. However, this one is the OG. Now let's take a look at the next generation. This is where Pulsars really started to get more modern. The 220. This one created a brand of its own, the 220. It didn't even have to be pronounced the Bajaj Pulsar 220. You didn't have to say Bajaj Pulsar 220. You could just say 220 and everyone would recognize what motorcycle you're talking about. That is how iconic this was. And even until today, it's been a long time since it was first launched. It says 2007, and that's right, that's when it was launched. It had an FI model for a while, and then it was discontinued. They brought along a carbureted model. However, this design has remained the same ever since then, and yet even today it still has a lot of takers. It still finds a lot of buyers. Many still prefer this motorcycle. This motorcycle defined what it means to be semi-faired. This is what it meant. So well, this iconic design, the semi-fairing, the iconic projector headlamp along with reflector headlamp setup, this entire front fascia that you see here, that is an icon even today. I'm pretty sure it will remain an icon for many years to come. So this was the 220, the most powerful Pulsar until now. This engine was the biggest capacity engine on a Pulsar until now when they have launched the 250. Even then, this I'm sure will still find a lot of takers. It's still a legend in our opinion. Do let us know what you think of this motorcycle, even the other two that we just saw. Now let's get on to the more modern Pulsars. This one is quite special to me, and not just to me, even to Bajaj, because this is when Bajaj really started to go global. So Bajaj launched this not just in India, in several other countries. In fact, there were a few other Pulsars also sold in many other countries. However, it was around this point, around this time, that Bajaj started to go global, and this motorcycle was the smallest capacity Pulsar until recently. So it was a 135cc. It also brought along the 4-valve revolution. This was the first 4-valve Bajaj Pulsar. It was the first 4-valve Bajaj engine. In fact, it was only after this that the NS200 got the 4-valve, and then after that the 4-valve engines continued. However, it started all with the 135. It's a small tiny engine, not very powerful, it doesn't have stellar figures in terms of performance, but this is an awesome motorcycle. I owned one. I clocked nearly a lakh kilometers with it. I still have the motorcycle, even though I've been riding much bigger capacity motorcycles. This one remains special. How can one take a look at the Pulsar lineup and not mention the NS? This is what revolutionized the Pulsar lineup for Bajaj, not just in India but the global market, because it came with an all-new engine. It heralded the arrival of liquid cooling into the Pulsar lineup, and well, this iconic design, of course, this is gonna remain evergreen probably. So it's got this iconic front fascia that you see, the face of the NS. In fact, design inspiration seems to have been drawn from the NS. Even on the new 250 Pulsars, you've got the tank extensions, the muscular looks and the sharp design, etc. Everything, even the alloy wheels on the new one is taken straight from the NS. That's how iconic this motorcycle is. Bajaj doesn't want to lose the essence of the 200 NS. Also, the most powerful Pulsar ever, even until now. Let's take a look at the NS's sibling, the RS. This is how cool the RS looks, that it even draws attention even today, even though it was discontinued and then Bajaj brought it back, and even now you see this is how iconic it looks. It was the first faired Pulsar, so Bajaj has made the NS fully faired. It got twin projector headlamps up front, you've got the LEDs up here, LED indicators, you've got the same iconic wheels too. And this motorcycle remains special to a few people because this produced about 1 bhp more than the NS200, despite the engine being based on the NS200, and the chassis, the frame, everything was based on the NS200. It's just that this handled a little better, and well, it certainly looked a lot better. It didn't find a lot of takers, but it did look iconic, and that is what made this one special. Now from here on, it is upwards and forwards for Bajaj. The 250s have come out now. So what are the 250s about? Let's go check it out. And finally, after 20 years of the Bajaj Pulsar brand being around, we have these two new motorcycles, the Pulsar F250 and the N250. Well, if you want to know more about these motorcycles, do go check out our walk-around video, which is already up. Also, if you want to know how they ride, stay tuned. November 11th, our ride review drops, and we really are looking forward to ride these motorcycles. Thank you for watching. This is Stephen Neal signing off for DriveSpark. If you haven't subscribed yet, do go and subscribe. And if you like this video, do share it.